You know what? I think I don't have any corrections for the review, which is good. Usually I have a couple of things I need to fix, so I'm going to take my time here and hopefully you enjoy the review. Let me know if you see any inconsistencies or things that I missed. And yeah, we'll just continue on. This is great. Yeah, after reviewing and editing it, I said what I needed to say. I'm still a little long, but I'm getting better. I still want to plug in who I am, what the channel does, what I do here for the most part, and that will also be iterative. I think after the end of this year, I'm going to change up the formula just a tad to engage a little bit more and not have such a heavy volume of videos. But for now, I'm going to finish out the year with 10 episodes, 100 rounds, and give that body of work. But then I'll switch it up because I have so much time put into doing these videos. I really don't have any time for anything else. So yeah, something has to shift a little bit with the format of what I'm doing, and it's good. It's all good. I think it's great to be creative and imagine differences in creativity of producing these videos and everything put together. So anyway, yeah, let me know what you think. No outro today. Like, subscribe, comment, recommend, all that jazz, not in that particular order. You're all awesome. Thank you so much for your input. This one hopefully picks up a little bit more traction later on. And we'll see you tomorrow on the next round series. See what it is. Enjoy.
This video is intended for educational and informational purposes only. All firearm handling shown is performed by trained individuals in a controlled environment. Always follow the 4 rules of gun safety. Number 1, treat your firearm as if it is loaded. Number 2, never point a firearm at anything you do not intend to destroy. Number 3, keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. Number 4, be sure of your target and what's beyond it. Comply with all local, state, and federal laws regarding firearms. Do not attempt to replicate any action seen in this video without proper training and safety measures. The creators assume no liability for misuse or unsafe practices.
Review. Here we go. 1,000 round review of the Archon Firearms Type B Gen 2. Yeah, I had a whole history about this firearm, and throughout the 10 episodes I went through them and talked about them a little bit. So if you want to go back and look at that reference, I have a whole thing throughout the about 7 episodes going through. Welcome back. Glad to see you. Thank you for joining me on this 1,000 round review series, also 1,000 gun review series for the rest of my life. So if you know me, you know the channel, you know what I do. I do 10 episodes, 100 rounds each episode. And after those 10 episodes, I do a supercut of all 1,000 rounds together, back to back. Just a big show of the body of work that I did. And then I do a review, just my take on the firearm, and also giving a number out of 10 to see where it is. And I'm trying to be as unbiased and fair as possible, but 10 is an absolute perfect gun that never deteriorates, never has any problems. So I was weary about doing the out of 10 rating, but some commenters mentioned what I thought about it, and I think that there's a place for it. I don't want to relegate all firearms to a 1 out of 10, but there are some that can be that, and I want to give my experience because it changes over time, right? So I made mention of this way back in the beginning, that throughout this journey of shooting all these firearms, I get to experience a lot of different things at a lot of different times. Most likely it's going to stay the same for me, but it could change. It could change with different firearms and different experience in terms of my skill level. And then just, you know, I could have a lemon. I have a couple of those that I haven't had the best experience with, and I can't take it at face value in that that's the whole company, that's the entire platform, whatever the case is. So I'm careful of that, and I want to be fair with those things. So I give my take, my opinion, whether you could use it for duty, competition, or EDC, based on my experience. I haven't done any competition. I have duty and, you know, EDC experience, but those are all subjective, right? Because coming from me, I have a body of experience, a number of years of experience, and that's going to be my take, my opinion. So, for what it's worth, and that's why I do these. I do all the body of work to show that I've shot through all of this, and I spent the time to get a good take on the firearm that I'm going through. That being said, let's jump right into it. I do 3 cons, 3 pros, then any nuances that I find with the firearm that don't have any bearing, negative or positive to it, and then I give my take, and then the score. So first con I feel for this, even though I like the texture, how it goes all the way up, it's got texture on the side and all the way around 360, it just does not feel grippy. And it's like a faux rubber type of grip, but it just right now, excuse me, right now it just rained, so we've got some moisture in the air, right? And excuse me, and that lends to, you know, hands being kind of clammy, and so when you're holding onto the pistol, it just feels back here. It just feels a little slippery, and of course we don't want that. So the more grittier texture I like better. This is just smoother. I don't know if you can see it. It just has a smooth feel to it, even though it does grip and you can get good control of the firearm. That texture, it's not desirable for shooting long term. And if you have clammy hands, I don't have clammy hands, but you know, moisture or different situations, you want to be able to grip onto the pistol. So that's the first con, is that texture. I don't really care for it. Second con is the price. The price I paid for this was about $940, $9 something, and that didn't come with the optics cut. You know, it came with, you know, it comes with a lot, and it came with 2 magazines. But for this class, it's a Glock 19 platform style, completely different, you know, absolutely original. And Czech Republic has very, very, very good, I think, design, innovation, and engineering. So it's great. But to get into that class, and for what it is and what it's competing with, yeah, that's a little steep for. Now it can come with optics, it can come with a port, you know, it has different options, but then you're looking at a higher price point, and for that it's just like, I got the RXM, I got the Springfield Armory Echelon, I have, well, not the H&K, that one's kind of expensive too. Excuse me. I have, the PDP, man, see all of these different competitors, and the M&P, these 4 monsters can, and then yeah, the Ross Martin, these will blow this out of the water in terms of price, performance, the feature set. That will trump any of these pistols that are a little bit higher in price point. And you know, let's face it, if you're getting into a duty firearm or EDC, let's say you're carrying this for everyday carry, you're spending almost $1,000. You could buy a Ross Martin for $300, brand new. You could buy a RXM for, let's give it $400. But dang, you got so much space to do any customization, ammo, and you could buy yourself an ice cream, you know, after that. So all of these things, it's just, to me, it seems like that price just Yeah, it doesn't justify it, especially because it doesn't come with a complete feature set. You got optics cut on all those firearms that I mentioned at their price. Now, the M&P would be a little bit more expensive, although you get the metal, the M&P 2.0 carry comp metal, and it comes with a comp. It would have an aluminum frame, and it'd be about $1,000, so it'd be about this price, but it would surpass it completely. So I still enjoy it, but that price is definitely con number 2. And then con number 3 is the feature set. Now, with that price point, it doesn't come with that optics cut, which would be nice to have, but then it's just, yeah, that's lacking in terms of what the others in its class can offer. And at this time, you'd expect it. And this is a newer company. This was around 2012 that it came up and, you know, began to manufacture firearms. And so that feature set without the optics cut, not saying it have to have a port or anything, because it has most everything else, and that's just fine. But yeah, that minus the optics cut, it just seemed, again, a little lacking, and it's in tandem with that price con. So that to me was unfortunate. Now on to the pros. That was the 3 cons. Pro number 1 for me was the grip and feel. So I had been interested in it. I saw it on some other reviewers on, you know, YouTube, and I thought, oh, that's an interesting looking pistol. I like that. I could tell right away this cut right here is for those that like to pull back and do a slide check, or, you know, rack the slide in the front. Well, of course you wouldn't do that if you've been shooting for a while, because it gets super hot, but I thought that was cool. Then also the bore axis was low, and so that I thought that was cool. So when I held on to it, I was like, wow, that feels very, very nice, very, very good in your hands, and confident. So that to me was a very, very big positive. And just aside from the texture, which I did notice initially as well, the grip feels good. It feels good in your hands. It doesn't have too many bolsters or any grip cut-ins or cutouts, if, you know, whatever you want to call them, into the grip itself. But, you know, basically it's a flat grip, which doesn't give any noteworthy mentions. But for me, the grip in terms of holding the pistol, the low bore axis, the center of gravity, almost you'd say, is, and it's a polymer frame, by the way, polymer frame. So because it sits so low, and you can notice that, it feels good. It feels like it's just low. It feels low. It doesn't feel top heavy where you're gonna, you know, and not to say that anybody would have a problem, you know, holding it. It's just it's very light, and maybe that's what adds to the 3rd pro when I get there. But that's pro number 1, is the grip and feel of the firearm was outstanding. The platform, to me, this is pro number 2. The platform has a lot of great qualities to it that could go the distance, I feel. And this is one of the nuances, but this looks to be, for me, like something that it can be another competitor for the Glock 19 in terms of, like, you have a duty pistol or whatever. This seems like a platform that will go the distance, along with the Ross Barton and the CZ. Completely forgot the CZ P10C. That one is outstanding as well, if you haven't shot it, and my review's coming up on that as well. But all of these different platforms, like the M&P 2.0, that is going the distance as well. I feel that this can do the same. Ross Barton is the same. That's based on the Arex Delta. But I feel this can do that type of job, and it can be a service. I'm not sure if it is a service pistol in the military out in Europe or whatever, but very, very nice in terms of the platform, because of a lot of the little nuances and features of the internals of the firearm, especially the bore axis, right? So that is a interesting and, I think, noteworthy attribute for the firearm. So I can't say that right now it is a pro, because that's a subjective thing for me. This platform looks to be, it could go that distance because of what it is. And I'm not an engineer or scientist or whatever. I can't tell you how the internals will last such a long time, or, because it's only been, what, 12 years? Sorry, 14 years, and no, not even that. Yeah, 14 years, sorry, just kidding. My math in the morning, not that good. But yeah, I think, even though it's subjective, I think that this could go the distance. So that platform for me is definitely a pro, and I want to see where this goes. And I do intend to get the ported optics cut version to see how that does versus its companion. So that's pro number 2, and along with pro number 2 comes pro number 3, which is the agility. I suppose pro number 1 was the agility. So the grip and feel, everything that lends to a good feeling of the firearm. When you shoot it, you have this feeling that it because it's light and it feels good in your hand, it feels like low center of gravity, you can maneuver very fast. And I had a character arc with this pistol, and at the first couple hundred rounds I was like, I don't know, I'm not too sure, I'm not sold on it, and I don't know where exactly it would fit for me. And since I shot 1,000 rounds, I thought, oh yeah, this really does have a lot going for it, and I feel good about it, especially with that shooting ability and agility, getting up on target quickly, sight acquisition, and then moving from target. The front sight has a little fiber optic, which is very small comparatively to, let's say, a tritium sight, which I like them. But at longer distances, of course, we're not shooting like a sniper, but longer distances, that fiber optics, even at shorter distances, it's nice to have that smaller sight. And you'll see that on competition pistols, I believe, is that smaller optics, or the fiber optic front sight. So the agility, when you do shoot it, it's very fast and quick. Not to say that other pistols aren't, but I just feel because of the lower, it just feels flat in terms of when you hold it. It doesn't feel like it's standing tall. Excuse me, some of the other pistols have that feeling. So these are very, subjective. You'd have to shoot it, and it's not something that you can see readily, but that's what I experienced through my shots. And I shot this at 100 yards. So I hit, I think, at least 6 times, and I did the transition from a 12 to 100 yards, and I hit it. That was really exciting. I have to make note of that. That was very, very exciting for me to be able to do that. I haven't done it with all the pistols, but I'd like to do that transition and also get out to 100 yards for just posterity. It's absolutely worthless, but it's fun to hit out that far. So going into a couple nuances, the recoil and the bore axis, I couldn't really tell. I'm going to get side by side with some other firearms, but I couldn't tell necessarily with the recoil and the bore axis if it did have any bearing, or if it had any real world. Oh, that was right on. That was almost, that was okay. It's not snappy. It does feel planted when you shoot it. It's not going to jump around on you necessarily, and that probably has something to do with that bore axis. But obviously, it gets right there on the money with the accuracy, and that's what I felt when I shot it. I don't know. I think after I shoot with another firearm side to side, head to head, I can give a better take on that nuance. But for right now, to me, it's just not a gimmick, because they made it for a purpose, and the platform serves that very well. I like how it doesn't tilt. It doesn't need to tilt with the barrel to get it through, and then also to the barrel stays put. It comes back a little bit, but notice how the barrel itself doesn't go down and up. It just comes straight back. So that doesn't do anything. There's no rhyme or reason to it. I'm just saying that's just a nuance for me. And the takedown. So the takedown is interesting, where you just pull back this little pin right here, you just push, and then on the back here is a big portion. You can, if you have fingernails, I don't have fingernails, but you can still pull it out, and it's got a retention that it just stays there. Pull the trigger, comes right out. Now that to me also shows the platform, and that was one of my positives, my pros, in that it looks clean, it looks flat. You don't have a lot of parts sticking up. Not that that's, you know, going to take away from your shooting experience, but when you clean, right, you don't have a lot of jagged sticking up points, and, you know, a lot of hang-ups for your cloth or your brushes to go through. To me, that just seems that's a lot cleaner, and that's why I feel that the platform can go the distance. And I like that. I like that, just a very sheen, simplistic, natured look of it. To me, that also lends to an easier time. Let's say just in general or on the battlefield, you can just clean this very, very easily. Now, whether or not the reliability is there is yet to be. I mean, I'm not sure. I don't know. I haven't taken it out and run it through its paces through dirt, muck, and water and snow and all that stuff. So not sure about that. But that to me is, that takedown is very easy. Retention is nice. I mean, of course, the Glock has its own proprietary sort of feel, and we're all used to just pulling that little lever down and popping off the slide. It's very, very intuitive. But this also too has that going for it, and I feel that there's a lot of potential, and that's just my feeling. I don't know if it is going to stand the test of time, but to me it seems like if they stick to it, they keep innovating. This is generation 2. The first generation had a different texturing, which I think I like better, and I'm going to get that to test out the two together. But at this point, my opinion is, for an EDC, probably not. There's so much better, but many better options out there with the feature set and everything for a little bit cheaper price. And maybe that price point has to do with the innovation and the engineering of the firearm. So I understand that, but we're looking at apples to apples, right? You want to get into an EDC or even competition or something like that. Yeah, you can spend just a little bit of money buying an RXM, buying a PDP, Smith & Wesson, Echelon, one of those firearms, and you can get something that is going to surpass this. Come with extra mags as well. And then also you have Glock mags lying around, so you could just use those too. It just, to me, for an EDC, probably not. Probably not. You can carry it. I think that you look at other options, like shopping for, you know, a vehicle, to seeing what the best bang for your buck is. So duty, I could see this as a duty. I could see carrying it as a duty pistol, especially with the optics cut. But and you know, you're spending a little bit of money on it if you're serving as a police officer, security, military or something. I think that it could do as a duty, but then you have other options. PDP could execute as a duty as well, and that thing's a monster. But that one's a little bit thicker, bigger. But it just seems, again, the prices just keep holding it back. That price really, really just anchors it down to a place where it's more, again, a novelty, similar to these other Glock clones like the Shadow Systems, the Zev technologies, and I'm forgetting other ones, but those ones are also, because of their high price, you're an enthusiast if you're getting it. So I wouldn't consider that to be a duty. You have so many other options, but if you really like it, if you enjoyed it, and if you've shot it, you put 1,000 rounds through, which I had no issues, failures to feed. The ammo that I shot was great, no problems there. So it seemed reliable in that sense. And I only gave it a brief wipe and a couple of things. You saw mostly cosmetic, just taking the carbon off the front. I didn't do any cleaning of the barrel. It was just very surface level cleaning. So it was reliable. And then for competition, maybe. I'm not sure, but obviously if you're not using a red dot in competition, I mean, I guess open class is where you don't have an optics, or you can use the iron sights. So you're going to be going up against so many different hard competitors that it could work in all those places. It's just that there's so many other options for you that this would just be a novelty. And if you can be an expert and proficient at it, then that's great. But it seems like it doesn't do anything outstanding that's worth the price to pay for it. I supremely enjoy it. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful firearm, and I'm interested to see how it grows over time, and also the other versions, the Gen 1 and then the ported version with the optics cut. But yeah, no, if it were me and I were you, or somebody who was just buying a firearm to get into EDC or to use in duty or a competition, I would shoot it. I would have it next to the Glocks and everything. I think for a beginner, you can shoot it, but don't get it. Don't get it. It's just too expensive for what you're trying to do or get into, especially. Yeah, I forgot to mention that first shooters have it in the lineup, because it can be something that you shoot first, but I don't know anybody that would have it to have somebody shoot it for, first time. So Glock 19, RXM, Echelon, PDP, Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0, CZ, P10C, don't forget that one. Those are all something that can do a better job at a better price. I'm sorry, just as good as job at a better price than this one. So all those things considered, everything that I mentioned, the pros, the cons, my take, my feel, the 1,000 rounds, I'd say 6 out of 10. Honestly, I think that it just ekes above average, but that price, just like I said, that price just anchors it down. That really has a tug on it, especially given the options you have for choosing a firearm for duty, EDC, competition, or a new shooter coming in. You'd look at this and look at the price and automatically, oh, no, it's nice, but next. It's not going to do your taxes. It won't wash your clothes or do your laundry or anything like that. So it's not going to be a standout for the foreseeable future, in my opinion. I do look forward to seeing what happens later on. But that's my take. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. That was a good amount of time. Let me know what your thoughts are, what you have to say, or if you've shot one and your take. The history, I think, is great of the company, and the Czech Republic has a lot of things in the pipe and things that have come out which are very, very impressive. They just have to bring down the cost a little bit. So, like the CZ, the P10C, poof, that thing is cheap as heck. And I can't wait to have those compete together, and just to have this as a nuance take, as an honorable mention or something like that off the side, because you could buy 2 of those an RXM and a P10C for the price of this. Come on, right around that ballpark. And so, no, anyway, yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. Thank you so much for being here. All of you are awesome, folks. Thanks you for putting in your inputs, giving me your input, giving me your feedback, giving me your recommendations, commenting, saying how beautiful my eyes look, even though you can't see my eyes. And yeah, just overall being here. I've had a great time, and this has been a good shoot. On to the next. We'll see you at the next round series with the firearms, which I won't say what it is going to be. You'll just have to find out tomorrow. In the meantime, aim for center mass, pick up your brass if you're shooting on a public range, and stay dry in the wet weather. Just kidding, I don't know what I'm saying. All right, well, we'll see you in the next one.